We're going to call our Parks Commission meeting to order for April 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. And we do not have minutes to approve for this special meeting, single topic meeting. Public appearances for non-agenda items. Nobody here for non-agenda items. Review and approve our agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move approval of the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. Any suggestions or changes to the agenda?
No, ma'am.
All right. Those in favor of the agenda as written, say aye.
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 Our agenda is approved. Item 5, if we can start first rather than a motion, because there's a lot to explain, if I could just start, Scott, with you explaining where we're at right now.
Certainly. First off, I'd like to thank the Park Commission members for getting together tonight. The goal is really to try to keep the project on schedule. What we did actually is internally took a look at the plan, and in talking to Anna, she's recommending, and I agree, that what we should do is separate the prairie portion of the project from the current bid document that we're working on, and really it's going to be an opportunity for Anna to kind of set the goals for prairies, the installation thereof, the seed mixes, and then, also importantly, the maintenance of the prairie. And as we continue to get new parks, we're going to try and introduce a prairie into each of those specific parks. So we thought it would be best to take the prairie portion of it out. And what we also see too is, the question is, what are the neighbors going to see? And really, the prairie probably wouldn't have began until the fall. So with the initial project, we'll be able to do the shelter and the playground, get that rolling, and then Anna can work on putting the RFP together. And also too, what we're seeing, it could be advantage in regards to our budget. We'll see actually we've got estimates on what it would cost for the playground and the shelter, but this way we'll have some actual dollar amounts that will then allow us to kind of set our budget for the prairie, and maybe hopefully we'll be able to get into the existing Stoner Prairie Park and maybe begin to start to implement some prairie there. So that's what staff is recommending, that we go ahead with the playground and the shelter, and then also trees, landscaping, depending on what our budget is, what's left, we may be even to get some plantings taken care of this fall. So.
Okay. And we do have a citizen here to comment, Patrick Cheney, 5211 Kitty Crest.
Is that page 2 in the packet?
That is page 2, yes.
Okay, go to then. That page 2 is not in the public packet as of just a couple hours ago. So my comments.
I spoke with Sue so I did update the packet that's on the webpage.
When I looked at it, that was not in there yet, and the public packet has to be reviewable by the public, not just the commission members. So I didn't see that in the packet just this afternoon when I was going through this again.
Well, I just reposted it. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't do any good for the public. So in that case, go to page 7. It would be then, because that's what I was going on.
7. Okay.
You have to shrink it.
Like that?
Yeah, okay, so that's the best one that I found, because that's the only one, aside from the page 2 that was not available to the public, that has the basketball court in it, And my comments here, you know, I had a part in this on the Park Commission also, of all the changes and revisions and everything going on this. And I looked at this afternoon and I saw this here is just wrong, just as wrong as it was on the April 4th meeting. The prairie is all wrong because it's supposed to be more distance between the north border and the south border. It's not supposed to be to have that southeast section in there because the basketball is not supposed to be there. That's supposed to be over to the right farther. I don't know what happened to the boulder semicircle around there. That seems to be gone, and I don't know who made the decision and who took that off of there. Plus, there was supposed to be a tree circle around it that I can't find anymore. This is an awfully plain shelter. I know it was just a concept view, you know, architect's vision or something, but the shelter looks awfully plain in this right here. I'm not sure if the bike repair station is correct, and based on all these other things that I see wrong, I would kind of be very suspicious if that's, you know, not the correct bike repair station. This packet right here, when it had 17 pages, now I think it has 18 with the one very recently added. It has no map for the large area that shows all of the park, especially to the south. This is just, you know, what I was seeing in here is just in the northern half of this, and it doesn't show things like the location of the north-south path that goes through the whole area. That would be to the right side of this right here, but it doesn't show it on here. So it's kind of vague of, you know, is it still there? How does it work out with all of this? Are there any other missing paths? I can't tell without a map of the whole area. There's several pages in this packet right here of foundation work that nobody cares about. And then from my own personal suggestions right here, I saw no purpose. I don't want that one. I want page 7. Well, actually, no, stay there. Stay there. This will work. In the prairie right there, I never saw any purpose to that. Right in the middle of the prairie, there's a path that goes north-south, and it just goes up to the top, and then it tees, and I didn't see any value for that. I had suggested in a couple of meetings that there be a path from that point that goes over to the northwest to whatever that street is over to the west over there. What is the name of that street? Cornelius, over to there, through the prairie, I thought.
On that left side?
Yeah, but nobody else had any interest in that, so I guess that's not in. And based on all of this and the various revisions that have gone through the commission, supposedly to EOR, and then it would come back at the next meeting with the same stuff over again, and the packet, not including this page, which is probably an old page anyway, but all these pages of diagrams in the packet right here that are for this meeting are all old and not reflective of what was discussed at the April 4th meeting to get all these things corrected. I would strongly suggest that the Parks Department and the Park Commission never use EOR again.
Well, I think we'll have to move on now, but
Yeah.
I think there's a few things I can answer
Okay.
that may.
Unless EOR is required to be here in person to take notes and give feedback and show that they're really listening to the changes from the commission.
All right. I can, on this page, this master plan is the one that was done in response to the meeting we had with the citizens March 2nd of 2023. And so the paths through the prairie, the one that goes directly north-south, and the diagonal one were the ones that we settled on at that meeting. And the one change that will occur in that little triangle point up there, that was my mistake to have said that was all going to be prairie. That's not. That's mowed turf and a small sliver of a prairie garden next to a neighbor's house. But I sat with Scott in his office and we aligned that north-south path aligns directly into a sidewalk that goes up to the street there. So that's the reason that path is exactly where it is. And then the diagonal one was to take it from the crosswalk across Scarlet Drive directly over because it's a natural area where kids are gonna go anyway. It'd be nice if they didn't, but they will. And so that was the rationale for that being there. The trees that are shown there aren't shown on the subsequent pages because the construction documents don't have landscaping elements like that in it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The boulder arc was removed because we cleared the entire space out between the arc of trees next to the sandy area and the basketball court for open play space. The neighbors didn't want boulders in there. Now, we did talk about that the city had boulders to select from, and they could put boulders closer into the playground space if it seemed like it was gonna make sense, but they were removed from that area within the white rectangle. That's recollection I have from back then.
In fairness, Patrick is right that the packet that I included was the same as it was on the 14th, or on the 4th. That's correct, and actually I've got a meeting with EOR tomorrow, depending on how the Park Commission decides and, what they want to do with the prairie, and if it's the wish of the commission, then we'll take the prairie portion of it out of the, out of page, what is that, page 7?
Right.
So the
prairie will be done. It's just not gonna be part of these are construction documents, which I didn't realize right before last month's meeting. So it doesn't show anything south where we all who've been following this know that the ultimate frisbee plays and school softball, that's not shown on pages 2 and beyond because it's not part of the construction area. So, and then the construction area drawings also don't show the paved paths because they already exist. So, I think that was kind of addressing the questions.
They still need to show something of the overall, how everything fits together with other non-construction things too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can go through page by page, but I think, there's pages that here, they show footings. They have to show footings on construction documents, so they will.
Then the other one too, as far as, because Steve Arnold suggested.
The bike changes.
Right, and actually, that didn't make it to these documents, but Rob has included those recommendations from Steve in the document.
Yeah.
So are the ones showing the right ones or wrong ones?
These are, I would suspect these are the wrong ones.
So EOR knows about it.
And
And that'll be
included in the document.
It was.
Wasn't this meeting supposed to be to review all the comments from the April 4th meeting so that potentially this could be approved in this meeting, this special meeting? What's the purpose?
Okay, with all due respect, the speaker has had his 3 minutes, and I do understand, Patrick, your frustration, and I can agree with you that we're not seeing what we were supposed to see, but we are being assured by our chairperson that she has worked with the people putting these plans together and that all of the wishes of the neighborhood and all of the wishes of this commission have been taken into account. So while unfortunately the wrong documents were put into the packet, the master plan, as it should be, is correct. Am I correct on that, Sue?
Yes, you are, and thank you. And the only thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and the only thing that's not correct is that tiny triangle at the top. That's not gonna, we show it as prairie, it's just gonna be mowed turf. Except, and there's a sliver of it on the west end that's got a sort of a prairie garden that the neighbors put in. There's a little no man's land between a sidewalk and a paved path that belongs to the city, but those two hard borders put it into their yard. So they had permission to do some gardening there. Okay, so, and I brought the minutes again from March, and so we can all double check this together. The motion to approve what the neighbors were asking for in March, which was the basis for the page 1 here, the master plan, said these things. Establish a larger mowed turf flex play area on the north side of the park path by moving the basketball court east to an area adjacent to the north-south park path. So we pushed the basketball court over to the right, and that created this open play space. The next thing was that the new toddler play equipment would be included where the new playground is established. And I was just double checking, the playground equipment we approved has 2 different age ranges in it that I can see. And so I think that is criteria is being met. The third thing was that we weren't going to be replacing the existing toddler equipment, the older stuff, once it's beyond a useful life. And the fourth thing was native plantings in that park node would eventually be expanded to ease establishment and reduce mowing maintenance. So other than that, everything else there, where the mowed paths are in the prairie, that was shown in a prior rendition. So everything we talked about with and promised the neighbors is there. Now, we also verbally told them several times that the seed mix would not get in the way of line of sight for people walking dogs late at night or jogging. You know, people wanted to be able to feel like they weren't overly enclosed if they were going through there in darker. So we didn't.
So we can perhaps stipulate that what we are voting on tonight is what both the commission and the neighbors have agreed to.
Yeah.
Is Scott Endeley able to stipulate to that?
Yep. Yes. And then maybe a staging of the project is the initial project will include the shelter and the playground, and then the second phase will be this fall, which will be the prairie and landscape, hopefully.
Right, and I have a question about that. I understand what you're saying, that, you know, we'll have one element where we know the costs and then we know what's left for landscaping and prairie. Are there any other future expected dollars? Or is it all built out? Is there anything coming in from future lot sales?
Boy, Sue, that's a tough question. I don't know if there is, to be honest with you.
Just curious.
Yeah, I don't know, and that doesn't mean that certainly what Anna has been doing is adding with the normal operating expenses,
right.
adding things which we're always going to try to strive, and certainly even the basketball court could be in the future in a different CIP or whatever it might be.
Okay, I was just curious about that part of it. So, all right, anybody else have any questions about what we're doing? So, should we have a motion listing? Okay, I'm going to just say this out loud before I actually make it a motion. If a motion was offered to mirror that the playground layout and open space to the east of it, the shelter, playground, and the area east of it will, those areas of the construction documents are approved, of the construction documents that are in this packet.
Sure.
That's what we're approving.
Well, I would not say the ones in the packet, because the ones in the packet need to be updated with
the bicycle stuff.
Bicycle things and right.
Okay, so then a motion should say what? That we're approving the playground layout and
as approved by the commission and the neighbors.
Right. Then also though, is there anything specific we need to say about the bike equipment as suggested by, or is that all just already communicated to EOR from?
They've already put that in there.
It's already in there. Okay, so we don't really need to say anything about that.
I would propose that motion.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. Any other questions? Anna is here, Anna Healy, to answer questions. What would you like to tell us about seed mix or trees or?
Well, happy to do it. If it happens in the fall separately, that's fine. You know, I think that's probably the most efficient way to do it, to be honest, and then we'll get exactly what we want.
Yeah.
So that's no problem, if that's what folks want to do. If they want to include it in the construction, that's fine too. It's honestly a little easier to take it out, but.
Yeah, well, I think we should go with what we've said so far, and just, it won't be there.
Yeah.
And then you can define the borders of it. You know, whether you add so many feet this way or have to take away so many feet that way based on what's left.
Sure.
Because it's hard to calculate. We had L shape, now we're rectangular, how many, maybe somebody with better math skills than I can figure out exactly how that's gonna lay out, and you'll do that when the time comes.
Yeah.
So may I ask, what is it, the motion then?
Heidi has the motion as, go ahead Heidi.
To approve the layout as approved by the commission at all the various meetings and the neighborhood.
Okay.
Is that sufficient enough to, I mean, Scott has stipulated that everything we've asked for and everything which is what the neighbors have asked for is in the master plan. So if that in fact is the case, then we're just basically agreeing that this is finally what the neighbors want and we're agreeing to it.
Right.
We need to stipulate though that the prairie is not in this construction bid, you know, that the city will be doing this, or Anna will be coordinating that work.
I'm gonna include that in the motion if I may.
Yeah.
And that is fine.
Yeah.
Scott.
Please.
I don't mean to rush due process, but I have a meeting at 6:30. I have to get on my bike and ride to, so.
Okay.
We can vote.
Got a motion.
All right, ready? Okay, those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming in.
All right, so we don't have anything for agendas items 6, 7, 8, 9. Our next meetings are, and for item 10, May 2nd and June 6th. Motion to adjourn? I'll motion to adjourn.
Motion.
We're all gonna do it.
Second that motion.
Okay, those in favor? Aye.
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 All right, we're adjourned at 6:23.
Thank you.